Woo!
We are on, and welcome everyone to our recap of DevConnect Argentina. I'm Victor Wong, founder and CPO at Strato.
Free
And
CPO?
three CPO, maybe.
Three PO.
I may be looking very robotic, so if I am, then yes, yeah.
C3PO.
So let's go around the horn and introduce ourselves before we kick it off. Kieran, you want to go?
Sure. I'm Kieran. I'm our CEO. I guess, okay, so Strato, we have been, I guess we're hard announcing it now. We are, the labs company, if you will, has always been called BlockApps, and I'm actually the CEO of BlockApps as we're transitioning to a mainnet open source kind of foundation given project. First, we called that Strato Mercata because kind of Mercata was sort of a separate product, and we've kind of purposefully sunset everything else. So going back to the OG Strato at this time. So I guess I'm the. Does Strato have a CEO? We're jumping in with 2 feet, Victor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was kind of soft pedaling it, but I didn't know if you want to make the announcement there. That's cool.
Well, but you said of Strato, so it was too late.
I think I've already changed it in my mind, so yeah. Maybe it's not like. And thanks for that, Bob.
Yeah, that's it. OG. So Strato was, unveiled at DevCon 1. I don't know what exact date that was. It might be almost exactly 10 years, like right now.
I think it's very close to 10
Close.
years.
I think it was early December, maybe a week off.
No,
I think it was in October or November because it wasn't that cold. It was in London, and I remember it was not miserable yet, which is normal during London at that time. So
I will keep looking off to the side, but
okay, you're a resident historian, Bob.
I see a YouTube video, December 11th, 2015. Now there's
later they got released later.
Posted later.
Yeah. So, well, Bob, you do you want to do a quick? Who are you?
Hi, I'm head of ecosystem. So joined the team this year, but long time friend.
Yes. Long time listener, first time caller, right?
Yes.
and Jim, who are you?
I am James from SDR. I am CTO of BlockApps and one of the 3 founders.
Yes. And of Strato too, as Kieran has announced. So let's dive right into it. What were your?
You announced? I don't know what.
Maybe I did. I self-announced. I pushed you over the edge on that one, right? So let's dive into it. What were your impressions of DevConnect in Buenos Aires? Who wants to start here?
I guess I can quickly, hopefully quickly. I know we all have a tendency to ramble.
Yes.
So one of my big surprises, let's say the city itself. I was surprised to find that I was in Europe. I was expecting to be in South America. And I guess everyone knows this. They call it like the Paris of South America or something. But quite beautiful place. The mix of like the food varied from really excellent, especially on the steak front. That is all true. For if anyone is on the fence about the Argentinian steak, go and try it. To like medium, sometimes service very slow. The city does not look that big. Like somehow, like all of the hotels near the venue were booked out. So I ended up staying about 20 minutes away by car. And if there's no traffic, it was like 9 to 12 minutes away, but it was consistently about 25 minutes away because it's all kind of like mid-rises, like 4 to 6 or 8 stories. And it's like that for like a pretty large geographic area, which I found quite interesting. Yeah, it had like a little bit of an old world feel. It was kind of narrow, but yeah, super cool. People are very nice. maybe except for the slow service. It wasn't like snooty slow service. It was just slow service, you know. So hard to get things. You had to budget more time than you expected for things, which we found out the hard way. But would go back. Very cool place.
And what about DevConnect itself? How did you feel about the conference? And you might want to mention, like, what was the reaction to prices tanking during the event itself? Like,
well, tell you the other thing that we should mention first is what DevConnect even is.
Oh yeah. So as a resident historian of all things Ethereum, what is DevConnect?
Yeah, so it's a major conference held by the Ethereum Foundation. There's actually 2 different conference series that run now. So DevCon, which was originally developer conference, obviously has become not a developer conference anymore. I don't know when it was last a developer conference. Maybe 2, probably DevCon 2-ish. Maybe
it kept getting bigger.
Was getting a bit.
Yeah. 2 was big, but not huge.
I'm thinking in terms of the content, though. No,
I know, but they kind of correlated, right? Like the more people that wanted to come, the lower percentage devs somehow.
Well, I kind of remember at 2 they had DevCon, and then like next to it they had like, I think it was called like World Blockchain.
Yeah, I mean that one was a combined event.
Yeah,
but yeah, I guess probably DevCon 3 probably in 2017 was the switch over where you had like 1,000 people. So it switched from a, meet your peers, talk about all the different development projects going on, to more of a, hey, here are the big talks and, woo. But yeah, we've had 7 now. So, DevCon 7 was in Bangkok last October, I think. But yeah, they started doing DevConnect as well, which is really intended, I guess, to not be a conference, to be a collection of different events connecting, developers and community. So I was expecting it to be a fair bit smaller, but it absolutely wasn't. But it did have a different flavor to DevCon in that it was lots of little things, lots of many events, many under that same banner, obviously side events as well. But even if you just got like a ticket for the main thing with a theme of World Fair, of really, bringing people from around the world to show what they're working on. But I didn't expect it to be as big. Like, I think it probably was as big as DevCon really in the numbers. I mean,
I mean, effectively, I think they become the same. Like, it's just, basically whatever they were trying to kind of keep it small and more developer friendly. But I think, in terms of signal to noise ratio, these DevCons are probably still the highest compared to more businessy conferences. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of actual getting some technical stuff. Jim, what were your impressions of DevConnect and Buenos Aires? I've heard you said you're worried about being too negative, but there is no.
Go
for it.
Please.
The
internet wants to know.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff down there. First of all, I actually, in part to avoid having a huge flight down there, I broke up multiple destinations down South America on the way there. So saw a lot of really cool stuff in Central and South America the week before. And Argentina is beautiful. Conference itself had some very cool things there, but I think I really sort of preferred the format of what happened in Bangkok the year before. There were certain things about the format here that were sort of made it difficult. First thing is that there was less going on at the main venue, and we had to spend a lot of time sort of signing up for all these offsite things. And these offsite things were big and would go on for hours. So it would sort of pull you away from the main event for the whole day. Maybe you could kind of come back at the end of the day. But then I tried that a little bit at first. I signed up for an offsite thing, and then I kind of came back. And once I got to the main event, you're sort of just wandering around, and it was hard. Maybe did you guys like find a good schedule for what was happening right there? Because mostly I was just walking around, and like there was one area, I guess it was the yellow pavilion where the big room was, and you could get a couple small talks there, but mostly it was just sort of like outdoor study areas and not as much going on in the main area. I don't know. What did you guys think about that break apart?
It was haphazard, but I liked a bunch of the main stage talks. There were a few good ones on the Friday. There were good opening ones. And then there was a little amphitheater that had some of the good like DeFi app talks. But I agree, it was sort of like a crapshoot. Like the registration procedures, sometimes you had to register for an event that was inside the venue. Sometimes that wouldn't work, but you would go like by the booth or whatever, and they would just tell you like, oh yeah, just don't worry, just show up, and so like it contributed to an impression of like never quite knowing, like agendas weren't really posted for any of these side events. They were not even really posted for the main event until like the night before. Like they were kind of, lazily, in the computer science sense, updating the agendas as you went, so to speak. So it was very hard to like come in with a target and hit everything with that target. You kind of had to just sort of go with the flow, and it doesn't feel optimal. But I still got quite a lot out of it, even with that. But yeah, the endless registrations were quite annoying, and there were big side events in the event, small ones. Like I discovered a couple days in, there was like a quite large like Polygon side event in the main venue, and it was sort of hard to.
Well, kind of get what I liked at Bangkok is because everything was right there together, and you could kind of walk to something else.
That'd be way better.
Yeah, you could kind of test something out, and if it was looking silly, you could just run out and find another room. And so it allowed you to like kind of I don't know. It's like looking for a movie on Netflix or something. You can try a bunch of movies and then settle on one, versus like the olden days where you had to buy a ticket to go to a theater, and if you bet wrong, you're out of luck. That's what a lot of this felt like. Is like I would sort of sign up for some event, and then that would be like half an hour drive out of the main event, and by the time things would start, if it hit me I was into something silly, I'd still be like, well, maybe I should stay a little bit longer. I did sign up for this, and I can't sign up for another thing right now. So main area, I hit a couple good ones there, but often like just the topic wasn't something I was interested in at the moment.
Well, I found what was kind of strange was that you signed up for these like large blocks of time, and then the agenda wouldn't be clear when you were signing up, right? And then you might like see one good talk in that, like some of them lasted like 9 till 5, and like so you get like one good talk in there, and then
people were just hanging out, like co-working and having coffee and whatever for most of it, and the talks were like in this tight segment that they didn't name until like much later.
Yes, exactly, and some of them were important, like Vitalik saying something, and then the rest of it were like hit or miss kind of afterwards, right? So it was
I tended to find out about Vitalik speaking by seeing that he was speaking.
Like exactly. You happen to be there, and then he's like coming on, and like
I kind of would have liked to have seen that too, but the thing is I had signed up for a thing, and I was like across town when Kieran mentioned, hey, Vitalik's speaking here now, and I was like, well, and that was a day that that I probably chose unwisely too. I wasn't happy with the talks I'd gone to that day.
Right. Well, and speaking of that, maybe we can touch upon some of the big themes at DevConnect. Let's start with sort of the headline thing about Vitalik saying elliptic curves are going to die. That seemed to make a lot of news, and quantum computing was coming for us all. What were your thoughts on that?
This is a Jim question.
I guess, let's start with Jim. Bring out that physics background, Jim.
I'll pass this to Kieran.
Okay, so I will say that both Jim and I have a physics background, but mine was more from like the math side, where we're like good at the beauty of the equations, but like don't necessarily have an as an intuitive sense of like the physics people were good at like estimating the answer and then like back working into the actuality of it, where the math people might have actually been better at the math side, though the physicists are quite good at it, but less so. So nevertheless, I have spent some time in quantum and like the machinery on how quantum computer might work and so on. And I still don't have that much evidence that it's coming soon. But would you really, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to keep secrets under wraps. Like I think probably governments and private sector researchers are putting like a bunch of money into it. But for a long time, there were these like, Google got it to 20 qubits and they stayed together for 10 to the -7 seconds instead of 10 to the -9. And it computed the divisors of 63 or whatever, something like that, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know how we would know when quantum's coming. Like, we would know these coins are stolen. But even then, like, you might not want to do that. I also think the cryptography tends to come back pretty fast when new analytic tools come in. Like, I believe there's already quantum resistant stuff, and it would be a hard switchover. Like, but once you knew that the Bitcoin were getting stolen, you might still have, like, I don't know how, like, do you steal them all in one, 10-minute segment, or like, is it still kind of slow and you have a little bit of time to migrate over, or you just snapshot all the balances at one date when you're pretty sure that, I don't know how we would deal with it, but I guess I'm often skeptical, but color me a little skeptical on quantum happening much faster than people expect, which is the real scenario you're worried about.
It's one of those stories that's always in the news, there's some big breakthrough or progress in quantum computer. It's coming in a couple of years, but that's what they've been saying for decades now. So.
Yeah, and it seems like a bunch of people are, I mean, I would say quantum resistance was a big theme. Like there were a lot of people claiming either research or advances in quantum resistance at the conference as well. So it seems like Ethereum is probably better situated to implement a quantum resistant. I mean, it would be painful, but like it would be very hard to do it on Bitcoin more structurally, I think, than if
they like change less.
Yeah, exactly. It would. But what do you think, Bob? What was your impression of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can't really tell when the thing's coming up. I'm not worried really. Like it's like everyone's talking about it, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's very aware.
It's a known problem that a bunch of people are working at it, but no, it's unknown when it's going to hit us, I guess is the way I put it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there are chains that have already got quantum resistant stuff. It just seems to be like a cost thing from what I can see is going, okay, well, it's probably not a problem. So why would we make ourselves less competitive now? Like, I don't think it's a market winner of saying, oh yeah, like we're like 10x slower, but we're resistant.
Yeah.
But it's obviously an incoming meta, though the hotter meta really is privacy. I think that's really
well, I think the other thing in between those two things is ZK. So maybe we can, Bob, I know you have some thoughts on that. Maybe we can start with you this time.
Yeah, so I mean, talking about where we went, I was mainly just in the main venue, with the exception of the day before the main event, where we had the second Ethereum Cypherpunk Congress, which is a good fun event. And the other thing that there was on the final day was the Ethereum Privacy Stack event. So both of them were organized by Web3 Privacy Now. The second one in collaboration with the the privacy guys at the Ethereum Foundation. So that is a pretty new group. I think about 50 people working on that at the EF.
50 people. Yep. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
They're
sitting on a lot of ETH. Good for them. Wow.
So yeah, pretty serious, and in multiple different areas. So they've got the Kataku project, which basically seems to be like SDK and tooling to help with integration of privacy features into wallets, using existing projects, with Railgun being a key one. Basically like, hey, here's how to plug in privacy into an existing wallet, and we've kind of done most of the work. Also, on that, one of the main talks that there was on that last day was Vitalik and Roger Dingledine, great name, of Tor, really talking about the Torification of Ethereum, which is planned. So that was a bit of a reveal, that there is work underway to look at all of the different levels and components of that protocol stack and work out how to, unify them really, or at least make them Tor friendly, including things like the block formation, and the validator, leader stuff, and hiding all of that.
I want to jump in quickly on the Congress. I want to hate a little bit first.
Okay.
We saw the Infinite Garden appear on the screen again. At
DevConnect, you mean? Sorry.
No, on the Cypherpunk Congress. I'm not sure you saw that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I took a picture of it for the record. We'll put it in the show notes. We're like halfway to a wartime EF, but we've like kept the old generals and like put them on the National Guard or something, the Coast Guard, and let me connect this to sort of like a broader point. I really liked that you saw a bunch of the old faces at DevConnect, people who've been around for a long time. Like when I watched the Sky and Uniswap talks, they did seem, Sky has always formerly MakerDAO. I'm against this rebrand, but they seem to really take being a DAO seriously, where a lot of DAOs is sort of like marketing, and you kind of don't, it's led pretty top down, but like they were up there talking about the DAO way of doing things, and they've got proposals that you vote on, and I'm sure it's still like a little bit oligarchic, but they really meant it, the DAO part, on some level. I was talking to a cool guy who I need to follow up with, actually, with Victor, and we're showing him the app on the phone, and he was like, "Oh, are you getting a whole node on there?" I was like, "No, like those days, we've given up on this dream, I think. Like, it's like the thing is to be fast, and like you're not going to run the node on the phone. Even if you could, it's going to melt. Maybe one day, maybe the tech on the watch. Yes, node on the watch. Exactly. On the Apple Watch. But so I'm making fun of it a little bit, but I like that these people still exist, and it's like 2017, 2015. Like they still do the same things. And we in that same conversation, we're talking to an old friend of ours who's like, "Yeah, Railgun, it's great, but I want it to go harder. I want there to be one account for the whole network that all activity goes under, and then you use your ZK receipts to pull out what's specific to you." But all that, I was like, hell yeah, let's go hardcore dreamer cypherpunk, and almost no other conferences like that. Like, I haven't been to like a big Solana builder conference, but I assume that those are like pretty commercial just from the whole Solana ecosystem ethos. I'm surprised these people are still around, but this is great. So I wanted to throw a plug out that if you're on crypto Twitter too much, you worry that just like literally everything about the industry is price action. And there are still some true believers. It's kind of the same people that it was in somewhere between 2015 and 2017.
So Lefteris did a good tweet, a good little video clip actually, because Lefteris, famously one of those OG builders with Rotkey portfolio management software that he has as his main product, being offline. So it's a local app. It was he had a good new phrase as well, which was aligned apps, with that alignment being with you, the user, not some weird Ethereum alignment or anything, but saying it's on your side. But the tweet that he had was, one of the terrible things that was the network. Like the Wi-Fi was just wrecked, many of the days, like nothing. Even data on your phone, pretty shit, because there's so many people doing it at the same time. But he did a little video saying, the network's down, but my app still runs. Look.
But I will say, on that kind of like, I would, not to push back against what you're saying, but like, I do think the privacy people have kind of gotten more customer aligned than purely philosophical aligned. Like in the Ethereum Privacy Summit, I heard many times like, yes, we want consumer privacy. No, we don't want to support North Korea or pedophiles. Like, which seems to be the right line to draw. It's like, I think it's
okay. There's a debate. Bob, do you want to jump in? I ran into Amin during the conference, who seems to have created this debate. I think you might have more context on it than I do, but I'll backfill if need be.
Yeah, sure. So I guess specifically there, you have this philosophical question of, if you do have a privacy tech, should that be unconditionally single anonymity set with the whole world? Obviously the larger anonymity set that you have, the better security you have, with the ideal being it's everything, it's all transactions for everything. So that's the scenario that you have with Monero, though Monero is using ring signatures at the moment. There are plans for use of ZK to it's a full membership proof thing that they've got proposed, but right now it's just ring sigs. But it's on by default, so privacy on by default, mixing with everything by default. On the other side, on Zcash, for example, you can have transparent transactions, or you can go into the different shielded pools. So the one that you're talking about in particular is privacy pools. So privacy pools, I think, was either a suggestion from Vitalik, or Vitalik was one of many.
He's on the paper.
Yeah, a number of co-authors, but Soleimani is a primary guy, and Zach Cole as well. They just did a raise at Oxbow, which I believe raised $3.5 million. But the approach that we have there,
quite a responsible number in the.
It's maybe about how much it might cost to develop the technology and a little bit more. But yeah, the approach there, and it was really in reaction to the legal action on Tornado Cash, was really saying, okay, well, if you do this blind privacy approach, you do intermingle yourself with North Korea and terrorists and crime.
Yeah.
And the Monero reaction to that is yes.
So let me.
But if you can back up, sorry, just to finish the thought there. Yeah. So yeah, really, a primary thing was like not wanting to have that disassociation, but also not wanting developers to go to to go to jail. And saying, if you can credibly show, look, here is a ZK proof that shows that I am not in the same group as these known baddies, then, you know, that's a kind of a responsible middle ground. It does affect your anonymity set, but maybe not that much.
Let me add maybe the flip side argument, but also, so I never a user of any of these technologies. I'm sure I will test some at de minimis amounts at some point. The Tornado Cash, terrible name. You know, I think I believe that it actually also contained a capability, at least to prove source of funds on one side. So like you could prove that your funds were acquired legitimately, even if they were obscured later. I don't think you can do a severability with the bad funds. And that's the key point that Amin was telling me is the difference. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think the counterfactuals, what the hardcore other side cypherpunks would say is something like, well, what about like cash? Like all cash is dirty. It's all been used in some bathroom to get some illegal substance from point A to point B. You know, it's really the preferred still technology for certain kinds of money laundering and all that sort of thing. Hey, there are serial numbers, I guess, but we don't go and say cash is the problem. And the anonymity set of cash includes lots of bad acts, right? And so this sort of kind of like presumption of guilt, like, you know, if you're putting your money in the pool, you're aiding and abetting North Korean money laundering. I don't buy it at all. And, you know, on the other side, like you don't want to cede that argument. And everywhere in the world is trying to cede that argument. Like the banking system definitely has like a guilty by default ethos, like prove everything about you. And we're going to surveil every transaction. And, you know, we'll tell you if you're allowed to bank, basically.
I think there's certainly a very valid argument on that side of sort of like this supposition of you going, but it wasn't me, sir. Here's my ZK proof, I promise. Yeah. What's a ZK proof? Like, what are you even talking about?
Exactly. So if you pick this like half step, you're kind of just saying, oh, you use this privacy tech, but you're like, what are the easy ones to pick off? You know, like, I don't know.
And it makes it a permission system again.
Yeah.
And you could say, oh, it's only a bit. But
yeah,
talking to Zach, it was really.
I don't know the details. Amin said it does break the fungibility, which is like kind of a way of the same. The same. There's like, it's like with Bitcoin, you have like tainted ones and not, you know.
But talking to Zach, it seemed a primary motivation wasn't so much as being compliant as it was, we don't want any more of our friends to go to jail.
Totally. Yeah, I guess.
And maybe that's a passing phase.
It's that these, yes, at the same time, I don't really know what the Tornado Cash people did other than build software. Could have been more than building the software, you know. There's no way that building some software like should count as like a conspiracy to launder some money. Like that's never applied in any other case, really, maybe except as regards the crypto industry.
Also worth saying, though, I think, is that many parts of the world are not so progressive as the US on that kind of matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jim, I think we're starting to get, you know, we're a little bit over 30 minutes. Want to kind of touch base with you. I know you're still pretty jet lagged on what were your impressions at the conference, especially since you attended a lot of agentic AI talks too. So, you know, how real is that? What do you think about what were your big takeaways from the conference?
Well, I was pretty excited to go to anything AI, but I don't know. We're sort of like in the hype part of the hype cycle right now. And I went to on the first day to one where multiple I don't know, it was like typical people up speaking would be like somebody who had like put together a company where they were using AI to, you know, maybe go and do DeFi trading or something like that, and it would like sort of holistically understand what's happening in the world and try to use that to trade. And like, I don't know, like there were like panels of people where it was like multiple people with a variant of that story, and it was all very inspirational sounding and a little bit light on the details, but everybody was very excited by it. But I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, there's no way that like this stuff is really cool. There's no way they're doing it though. Like, and I remember like you know, it would be a much bigger deal if some of these succeeded. And it's funny because at these events you can still have like a lot of marketers are there, but there's still enough like geeks there that sometimes people just blurt out honest things. And after hearing like lots of marketing speak, I remember I forget who it was, and I probably wouldn't say who it was anyway, but one guy, they were like they had been spinning up this whole story again, like I had said before, but they were like, oh, and this actually works, and he got a little too honest, and he was like, oh, if this thing actually worked, do you think I'd be sitting here right now? And so that was sort of like the theme to me. It's like over-promising some really cool ideas, but it didn't look like it was actually, well, and this is kind of the case in AI in general right now. There's like huge breakthroughs. AIs can do a lot of stuff that would have shocked me, you know, just a few years ago, but it's hard to get them to actually sort of complete the whole job for you, or actually, you know, like work as advertised. So that's what like the common theme I was seeing there in these talks.
Yeah.
Did you see anything with post apps? Any kind of post app sort of like, hey, look, you can just AI drive this, and you know, that kind of text or voice interface as opposed to UI? Or were these all like infrastructure?
What is a post app? I'm confused.
Yeah, what's a
post applications, right? You know, soon we won't have applications. We'll just be
talking post apps. Yes.
Yeah. Or was it more infrastructure stuff that you were seeing?
It looked like infrastructure stuff, what I heard, but there were many groups up there talking about it.
The trading bots are arguably post apps. I mean, you kind of probably tell them what to do, and they like theoretically give you more money than you had, you know, when you gave it to they're like a little financial manager. But I've also like I think I've said before, like when I've test driven Klein and told it to like go do a swap on our testnet, it can do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it goes pretty slow through the UI. It's like understanding it visually, and you know, like I don't know that it's that much easier than a human, but I think you could mostly give a declarative intention to an AI, like, hey, like I want to rebalance from Bitcoin into Bitcoin and ETH.
Well,
I give it credits, they can do it, but it's not like, you know. Sorry, go Jim.
Well, I guess there is a subtle distinction between like an agent and like a helper, or just like a using AI as the UI. And as like an autonomous agent, that's the stuff that seems not quite baked to me yet. But I saw a couple talks where people were talking about just like using it in place of the existing UIs that are out there right now to help you each step of the way do things, and that it probably is great at. That's we all sort of use AI in that kind of thing right now.
Yeah, I did hear a very interesting talk by the people formerly Infura, but now DIN, like Decentralized Infrastructure Network, who are talking about really thinking about AI agents as users and how to make it easier for them to interact with the network. So from that point of view, I do think that there's some, I don't think it's really replacing UX. I think it's more targeting a different class of user entirely,
Yeah,
which are AI agents. Which
let me add to that. For a long time, I've been worried about our like mobile story. During the conference, I was using our app on mobile a bunch, and while I'm still worried about it, I think in many cases it will be leapfrogged by just like, hey, chat, like go do this thing in this app for me.
Yeah,
and there's a downside to that in that we have just like yet another aggregator, but an upside in that like you might not have to make a really slick mobile app.
Yeah.
And I think that'll continue. And I don't use that pattern much yet, but it's something we should definitely lean into. And I've also seen like pretty funny things. Some like B2B SaaS Twitter handle made some post where it's like, yeah, we sold the enterprise our app. We wanted them to use it more, so we made an AI to use it for them, and they're using it more. So
well, what you described though, I heard the MetaMask team. They're really talking about intents, like trying to kind of like, instead of like making you do a lot of clicks or stuff, just tell it, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. And then like, find me the best savings rate. And then we'll go and do all of that stuff. I know we're over time, so I want to go around the horn and say, what is the biggest takeaway you got from this DevConnect? Let's start with you, Kieran.
Privacy seems much more viable now than I thought. I've been generally a skeptic, even us having worked on it a bunch. But I think there are pretty solid mainnet live use cases for it that work now that we could also incorporate. I honestly think if we're talking about, consumer mass adoption, you can't really have these like clear text balances. Like, yes, it's pseudonymous, but it's makes everybody uncomfortable. Like Bob is fond of quoting the time when very obviously one of the Ethereum core devs moved like $250 million into Binance or whatever. It's like, it's not. So I've tried to accelerate our privacy roadmap in response.
Jim, what was your big takeaway from this conference?
I think the coolest thing that I saw, if it's real, is ZK is also one of these things which is prone to overhyping, but it seems like maybe scalability of Ethereum might be solved through some ZK means sometime in the next couple of years. If that really happens, maybe I've heard something about that before, but I probably just ignored it. But people were talking about it like it's around the corner right now. Looked into it a little bit. It looks, if it does what they say it does, it could be pretty impressive. So that was exciting to me.
Bob, what was the biggest takeaway from you?
Yeah, so I think that's true on a few different pieces, both in terms of that privacy, but yeah, also scaling. Like I think some of these things have taken so long. Like here we are, 10 years in. I just looked. It was November the 10th, by the way, the Strato talk on.
Oh, so almost
years. Congratulations, we're past the 10.
Exactly, almost exactly.
But yeah, some of these things have taken 10 years really to get where we thought would get in a few months even. And yeah, I think that will be like, the ZK-ification of the L1, that would basically end up with not really doing any execution on the L1. It's just proofs of things that are happening up above in whatever execution that environment that might be. So yeah, I'm feeling very like, we didn't talk about the price action, but that does not at all, to my mind, reflect where we are on the tech, which I think it was a really positive checkpoint for me of like, shit, like a lot of these things, yeah, we're kind of like really there, and things moving really fast. So, if we look back in 5 years, say, or even 3, I think we're going to be in a great place where it's like, we're almost feature complete, maybe.
Well, software is never really feature complete, but I would say that I guess the biggest takeaway I had is like, I think ZK proving which is different than the compilation part, has come way faster and way down. Like last year when they were talking about it, I think a typical proof took minutes and required 48 GPUs. And, now I'm seeing 2 GPUs and like closer to kind of the 10-second real-time holy grail that we're getting to. Like when I looked at the things on ethproof.org, I was really impressed at how close it was and what people are doing there. So I think we'll call it there because we're already 15 minutes over, but where can we find you? I'm Victor Wong. You can find me at X at Vic4Wong, W-O-N-G. Kieran, where can we find you?
K. James Lubin on X and most places.
Jim?
Still Twitter, and I also forgotten my handle again. You should remind me next time to look it up. It's what is it? Jamshid Hormuz or something?
I think that's right.
Hormuz. I looked it up, but I can't. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm going to keep asking you. You're good. This is a weekly pop quiz for you, Jim. So you better learn it at one point. And Bob,
look at the notes on our website. I always do the link. I always reply to that and correct it. And yeah, so I'm Bob Summerwill. Summer like the season and WIL. Write your will on Twitter.
And thank you for joining us. Take care.
I'm looking at my handle right now. It's Jamshid Hormuz.
Great. Okay. You get a 50% just pass.
That's even more embarrassing than failing.
Bye.
Yes.